So when you are standing in this glorious place of so much to choose from, and something that you see stimulates within you powerful awareness that you do not want it, are you realizing that in the moment of your keen awareness of what you do not want is born a powerful clarification of what is desired, and that desire is known by source energy and is yielded instantaneously? So that it turns out that times of greater contrast are times of greater desire production, and that the desire, which is the asking, is always answered. So when we see you in a time when more of you are focused upon something that causes more of you to ask, whether you're using your lips or words, or whether it is just the vibration that emanates from you, we always celebrate in the extraordinary amount of source energy that comes immediately into your time-space reality in response to all of that. It is really a wonderful thing. Sometimes when you have a global event where a lot of people are focused upon something and they are feeling a great amount of negative emotion, people have been studying the science of deliberate creation. Anyone who understands about law of attraction worries. They say things like, aren't so many of us focused in such negative ways? Will this not negatively affect our time-space reality? And we say, remember, the contrast produces the desire, and the desire summons the source energy, and the source energy coming forth is what you are all wanting. In other words, more creative life force with which you can flow toward whatever your creative endeavor is about. And so, as you come to recognize that in high contrast times, more energy comes forth in response to the greater desire that flows forth from you. And you as an individual can choose how much of it you allow to flow through or not. As you stand in your physical time-space reality and you experience this magnificent contrast, and from it you come to personal desire, source energy answers that desire. So the creative process is a very simple one. You ask, source energy answers. Many of our physical friends say, well, it cannot possibly be that simple because I've been asking and it's not showing up in my experience. And we say, well, you are asking and source energy is answering, but there is a third step that really is worth talking about. And that is, are you a vibrational match to what you're asking for? Because when you ask and source energy answers, and you're not a vibrational match to the very thing you're asking for, then while source energy is answering, and while your time-space reality does have greater access to greater energy as a result of your asking, if you are not personally, individually up to speed with what you're asking for, then you cannot be the recipient of it, not now anyway, because law of attraction dictates otherwise. We know that many of you would like to be the one exception to the law. You would like the law, like your mother and so many who have gone before, have made exceptions for you, and even though you were throwing a little hissy fit, they responded to what you wanted, even though you were nowhere near in vibrational harmony with what you wanted. But law of attraction is a very loving, consistent, and we say loving because it is consistent, because in its utter consistency, you can get a handle on what you're doing vibrationally. So you can always know at all times how well you're doing in the letting in of what you've been asking for. You have emotions within you that are magnificent interpreters of these vibrations. And the emotion that you feel lets you know two things that matter. One, how great is the desire, or how fast is the energy flowing? In other words, the stronger the emotion, the more it really matters, which means the more you're really asking, which means the more the universe is really answering. Do you understand that? When you have a strong emotion, whether it is one of ecstasy or agony, that strong emotion always means there's strong asking going on within you. Lots of pulling power, lots of asking, and even more important for you to understand, lots of answering. Because the asking and the answering go hand in hand. There can never be one without the other. So if you're asking in a strong way, universe is answering in a strong way. That's good news, don't you think? So when you feel strong, strong, strong emotion that you would call anger or frustration or fear or rage, the good news is you're asking in a very strong way, and source energy is answering in a very strong way. The bad news is you're not in a place right now of letting it in. So what happens when you have an event that gets worldwide attention, which causes worldwide asking? And it doesn't even matter which side of the issue the individual is asking from, the energy is still powerfully responding. So as source energy is powerfully responding to this stronger than usual request, what you begin to notice as you take your personal poll of your own life experience and of those around you is that those who were thriving before thrive even more now. Those who are well are weller, those who are rich are richer, those who are sick are sicker, those who are discouraged are more discouraged. Whatever it is that you are feeling is amplified in this time of faster moving energy. The crevasse between those who allow the energy of well-being and those who do not becomes more distinct and more obvious to anyone that's looking with the knowledgeable eye or understanding of law of attraction. So, as we see you in your now, we celebrate the fantastic energy stream that you have access to. And we stand before you in Esther's body, a host of source energy entities wanting to assist you in rediscovering something that you knew powerfully before you made the decision to come forth into this physical body to begin with, which is you are the creator of your reality. You get to choose what happens to you. You get to choose when it happens, where it happens, how it happens. You get to choose all of the details of your physical experience. First, you must understand that you get to choose. Second, you must deliberately choose. And most significant, you must allow what you have chosen. And so this gathering is not about encouraging any specific choices. That's really up to you. This gathering is about helping you to discover how to become a vibrational match to what you have chosen. And so we call it the art of allowing, the art of letting in, the art of affecting a vibration within me that matches the vibration of my desire so that law of attraction could put me and my desire in the same place at the same time. Law of attraction says that which I give my attention to creates a reverberation of vibration within me that is answered by everything else in the universe that is vibrating. So if I focus upon anything long enough that its vibration begins to reverberate within me, there is an asking, vibrational asking that takes place that will, if I maintain it, begin to not only manifest in terms of the way I feel, or not only manifest in terms of what I'm dreaming in my dream state, but it begins to seep into my experience through day-to-day, what you would call real-life manifestation. We love to see real-life manifestation in your experience because very often that's when you begin to pay attention to what you're offering vibrationally. But we're wanting you to realize that it does not matter where you stand, it doesn't matter what vibrations you offered that got you there. Today you stand on this fresh new platform with absolute, ultimate control over what comes next. You just have to know that you have that. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you.
My question has to do with the collective consciousness idea and how my desires on global levels can come to me when there are so many other collectively different vibrations happening.
For example?
For example, the desire for clean air, clean water, no nuclear power, any of those global kinds of events that seem to be affected by other people's vibrations as well. I guess it's kind of, is it a majority rules kind of thing under those conditions?
Have you heard nothing from us?
I have.
We're playing with you. We're playing with you. But
I answer the question myself all the time, Apparently not.
It seems like majority rules when you, in your inferiority, forget that when you ask, it is given. And the reason that it seems that majority rule is because as you give your attention to what they are voting for, even though you would not vote for it, you're voting for it. When you see the others leaning towards something that you disagree with, and you spend time on your platform vociferously disagreeing, you are casting a vote for the very thing that you do not want. Now, that doesn't mean you give them power. It means you disempower you. And that's the most important thing. In other words, you can't let in what you want while you are pushing against what you do not want. We really want you to begin to notice on issues that you do not believe that others have the power to cast a vote in, how quickly and easily, instantaneously, the universe responds to your request. And then we want you to practice noticing that until you convince yourself that anything you ask for, source energy is answering. What trips you up is that you keep wanting to ask and receive globally rather than ask and receive individually. You see. Now, nobody has the power to ask and receive globally because you are not a global consciousness. You are an individual consciousness. You can affect what happens in your experience. And while we know that you are well-meaning and you would like to positively affect what happens in their experiences, in this sea of contrast where everyone gets to choose individually what they want, that's what goes wrong. That's why you are all warring all the time. You all think that you are right, and you all think that the other is wrong, and you all think everybody would be better off if they would agree with you. And because you all think that, on and on it goes. Where if instead you would say, I get to think what I want to think, and no one can control my thoughts, I can. And the more I attempt to put my thoughts upon objects of attention that feel good when I do it, then the more I am in the state of allowing the well-being that is so natural to me, and the more I thrive. And then you say, but I don't want to selfishly thrive. I would like everyone to thrive, and I think I've got some good ideas. So then we say, well then imagine them thriving too. Because the bottom line of what your desire is for your thriving and for the thriving of others. So just don't try to figure out in what way they will thrive, and don't take score when they are not, you see. You said it is a little chaotic. Chaos means the allowance of all thought. And from our non-physical perspective, we know that anything other than that can never exist, because every thought that has ever been thought still vibrates and still does exist and is still accessible by anyone who chooses that vibrational attitude or approach. So chaos is a natural thing. It is, in your words, a God-given thing. It is an inevitable thing. And from our perspective, it is a very, very good thing, because it's like a well-stocked kitchen with some of everything there. So then, as a deliberate creator, how do you make sense of the chaos? Well, you have exposure to experience that causes you to conclude preference. And as you deliberately and creatively hold your attention upon your preferences, then you bring order out of the chaos that we would call deliberate creation, you see. And the more order of the chaos you personally hone from your ever-increasing deliberate attention to subjects, the more satisfaction you receive as you realize that you have drawn from the chaos specifics that please you, and you've created a very lovely environment around you. And when you understand that you have the right and the ability to do that, then you no longer condemn the chaos, you applaud the chaos, but you cannot applaud chaos when you haven't learned about directing your own thought.